Welcome back to the Dry Fasting Club. I'm Yannick Wolf, and today we're talking about a crazy concept that you haven't heard anywhere else. Literally the first content about this on YouTube. Look it up. Look up Virophagy. I want to talk to you about the biggest secret in the medical world, and especially in the world of virology. It is a secret because it is considered dangerous. Okay? If you ask your doctor about it, what do you think they're going to say? They will tell you that it is too dangerous and that 3 days without water will kill you. Okay, but the data, there is hard clinical data coming out of Russia that says the exact opposite. And the Russians have been studying this for so long, but yet for some reason, we don't have access to any of their research papers, at least not in an easy way. So what is this mechanism? If you're new to the channel, we are talking about the only known mechanism to clean a virus out of a nerve cell. Not suppress it, not manage the virus, clean it. You might finally be understanding what I'm trying to talk about. If you have chronic fatigue, if you have Epstein-Barr, if you have recurring herpes, you know what I'm talking about. The virus hides. It hides in your ganglia, it hides in your neurons. Your immune system can't see it. And even if it could see it, it can't attack it. Because what happens if it attacks your nerves? It'll create horrible autoimmune conditions, things like multiple sclerosis, Guillain-Barré, and other nerve and pain problems. So you're stuck. The virus has found its hiding spot. It has its own safe house. Until now. Think of your nerves like a high security building. The virus is inside, holding the cell hostage. You can't just blow up the building, okay? Because that's where that nerve damage immune system happens. You need something. You need a SWAT team that can go in and out, go inside the cell and take out the target without damaging it. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, this SWAT team mechanism actually exists. It was identified recently in a paper. The paper was called, it was from UT Southwestern, called Sorting Nexin 5 Mediates Virus-Induced Autophagy and Immunity. Okay. In that paper, they found this gene called SNX5 that was designed to actually do this SWAT team mechanism. And there were other genes too, and they're all part of genes that they've discovered, and they've called it virophagy. You know, autophagy, but virus autophagy. So this machinery, this autophagy, virophagy machinery allows a cell to identify a virus, take it, eat it, destroy it, and recycle it. So you might be thinking, if we have this machinery, why are we still sick? Haven't we said that autophagy happens on a day-to-day basis? Why isn't it working? Well, here is the truth that no one wants to tell you. It's because you're too comfortable, okay? We're all too comfortable. The SNX5 pathway, that gene, and these other deep autophagy genes are considered energy expensive by the body. What do you think the body's going to do with something that's energy expensive? Your body hates turning these genes on. As long as you are drinking water, as long as your blood is filled with glucose, your body has no reason to go into this deep cleaning mode. And if it doesn't go into this mode, it will not clean inside of the nerve cells. Okay, you might be thinking, water fasting, it's good, but it's too slow. It takes 7 days, maybe 10 days to get the same benefits. And even then, you don't get all of the same benefits. Who has time for it also? But there's a shortcut and a thing that actually works. The shortcut is sort of a cheat code, and it makes the process 300 times faster. Okay, you guys already know the magic number in dry fasting is 3. And honestly, you probably already know that there are mechanisms to dehydration that only happen with dehydration. So let's look at some data. Okay, we're going to look at data from the Russian studies and basically data that the Western medicine world ignores. The Russian study took patients with HSV, EBV, and CMV, okay, and they put them through 3 days of dry fasting. The results were not just good, they were literally biologically impossible. Bring it to a doctor and they will literally say, this is impossible. On day 3 of a dry fast, the immune system didn't crash. It actually significantly improved in multiple aspects. They found that certain immune markers dipped in the blood, right? But they didn't just dip and disappear. They went to the lymph system. Previous theories, okay, in the Western world that I've been following, assumed that the immune system retracted to the bone marrow, kind of went to sleep. But what it looks like is the body just transforms, like a Gundam, just transforms into a more efficient pathogen killer when on a dry fast. So natural killer cells increased by 54%. That's huge, and they got stronger. IGL, interferon gamma levels, increased by 42%. There's this thing called the phagocytic index, which means how well your immune cells eat pathogens and then dissolve them. And that increased by 52%. And then CD69, it's one of a bunch of T cell markers, increased by 82%. And I hope you're correlating T cells to immunity and then to chronic illness and having it lowered. So dry fasting will increase it. But here's the most important part. The viral load in the blood dropped. They did this EBV test, okay, a DNA PCR test, and it showed that the EBV in the blood decreased by 64% after 30 days of dry fasting. 30 days after the dry fast. And something similar happened to the other viruses like cytomegalovirus. Why is this happening? Because the viral hostage situation was resolved. The dry fast literally went in and cleaned the cells. Did something that modern medicine says is impossible to do. They all say it's impossible to do. Isn't that crazy? So if it's impossible, why is a dry fast helping? Well, when you cut off water, you create this thing called a hypertonic state. The pressure in the body changes, the pressure in the blood, in the cell, everything changes. And this pressure, this stress forces the cells to ask a very hard question. Do I really need that? Do I need that? Do I need that? The cells look inside, okay? It sees the viral protein hiding in a corner, and because it is desperate for water, for energy, for building blocks, it decides the virus is no longer a guest. It's going to be lunch. This is why 75% of the patients in that study had no herpes outbreaks, like cold sores, for 6 months after a single 3-day fast. And remember that this was without a viral reactivation protocol. No refeed for viral reactivations like the one that you can find in the Scorch protocol. If they had that, the number would have probably been closer to 95% with no outbreaks. Okay, why did this happen? Why dry fasting? Because the virus wasn't just suppressed. The viral reservoir was attacked by your body's own autophagy that can only happen in a dry fast. And milder versions on very, very long water fasts. And so the medical establishment obviously hates dry fasting. They call it dangerous because they just don't understand these miraculous mechanisms. They think that you're just dehydrating and dehydrating equals bad. They don't understand that the body creates metabolic water to slow down the dehydration. Literally the cleanest and lowest deuterium depleted water created for free. They also don't see all the other beneficial aspects. They just want to prescribe you the next pill. So what you have to remember is that you have the power to turn this on. It is written in your DNA, but it requires you to do the one thing that feels so unnatural in our comfort-addicted world. It requires you to embrace the dryness. Remember this on your next fast, and good luck on your dry fasting journey.